So it is processing right now. It should be live any minute.
Yeah, it says it is.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. I hope we are live. I think we are. Zoom always has like a weird pause there. Hanging out with Taylor again today. Say hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm also sharing our live. Yeah.
Oh, he's busy sharing. Okay, I'm sorry. So you guys know we recently did Taylor and I last week did a Q&A kind of information session about selling your products wholesale. This is something I'm doing with my products. And so, I'm learning this from Taylor, and I've decided to invite you guys along to learn it with me. On I think it was Thursday or Friday last week, we recorded a session. We talked a little bit about that. That's in the announcement section of the group, of Amazing at Home group. So you can always check out that first video. But a bunch of you signed up. So it's awesome. But you guys had a lot of questions about this. So we decided today that we would answer your questions. So one of the things I want to start with before we get into these questions is a lot of you were interested in selling on walmart.com. And Walmart, they have this problem where basically if you're an overseas seller, which some of you guys are, if you don't have a US-based business, you cannot get approved to sell on Walmart. And then we discovered that a bunch of you already, your products are being listed on Walmart and people are drop shipping them. So your products are already being listed on walmart.com by other sellers, and they're gouging your prices, making your brand look bad, basically, right? And then they are fulfilling your products through Amazon, which they're not even supposed to do, right? But basically, they're breaking the rules. They're selling your products for you. Yeah, it's a sale for you, but it also kind of makes your brand look bad because, if a customer buys it on Walmart and they paid $100 for it, and then they go see it on Amazon and it's $50, right? Or a third of that price, then sometimes they'll take that out on the brand and they'll be like, what the heck? You ripped me off on Walmart, and, and it's never good, right? So anyway, we were discussing this during our Walmart webinar that we did during the Saturday meetup. And the one way, even if you live overseas and you can't get a walmart.com seller's account, the one way that you can overcome that is by setting your products up to sell wholesale. Because then somebody like me who has a storefront on Walmart can buy your products wholesale, and I can make a profit and you can make a profit. So, but in order for me to buy your products wholesale, you have to have it set up to where I can pay you, you can invoice me, all of that stuff. And so, I was telling Taylor, my products have been set up to sell wholesale now for well over a year. I mean, I have the login on my websites where, the wholesale login where the person can go in and log in, but I don't do anything with it because, again, I don't have these tools that we're going to be learning in this masterclass. So besides, us introducing you to how to sell to specialty stores, I want you guys to think about this as the foundation of selling wholesale, selling your products wholesale, because that's the part that, yeah, we can all get a plugin for our website and we can all Google, but we don't necessarily have the tools or the techniques that allows us to implement that. Have you seen that, Taylor, in terms of, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, well, a bit. So obviously, yes, this is like a tool that we're giving off, but then you can use it on specialty stores, but you can copy paste and start to enlarge your business to other channels. Now we're going to talk about specialty stores. Number one, as we said, we're going to talk about offlines, online, special channels, media, TV, and stuff like that. But then once you understand all the tricks around and all the language that you have to know on wholesale and how to make it happen, this is just the first step, all right? The next step would always be to say, okay, how can I expand? If you're sitting right now and watching this and asking yourself, okay, I'm selling on Amazon, how can I expand to more platforms? Well, this is how you can do it, exactly how you can do it with us. So we're gonna see how to do it like a first step with specialty store. And then the biggest thing I could say here that supposedly you're gonna have a need or a will to expose to more channels. You would know how to do so when you have all the tools that you need. That's number one. Number two, even if you bring a different line, so let's say in the next 2 years you're going to sell whatever you have today, but then afterwards you're going to say, okay, you get to a point where your product is not really relevant anymore, or it's selling not so good, or you want to come up, it sells good, but you want to come up with a different line. You would know how to build it from scratch in a way that it would also fit to other channels. Meaning that if you build it to Amazon, it's going to be directed and it's going to be good for Amazon. But if you build it for wholesale, then you build it for wholesale, but it's also going to be built up good enough for Amazon. That's the whole thing here.
So the thing is, right now, all of us Amazon sellers, we are focused on selling to consumer, right? We're focused on business to consumer, B2C. And so what we're doing is we're helping everybody set up the foundation where they can sell B2B. Right.
Exactly.
So there are lots of business customers that you could be targeting, right? Even if you have home decor, and you might think, oh, well, I can't really sell that to, to a big home decor store. They already have their channels and everything, but this is opening up those channels for you to potentially be able to sell to that home decor store. But why do we start in specialty stores, Taylor? Why do we start in small? So what we mean by specialty stores is like smaller chain stores, kind of mom and pops. They're called mom and pops in the US, but why do we start with these smaller chain stores? Why not just, once I'm set up for wholesale, why don't I just go direct to, like, in Texas, here in Texas, we have the at-home store. It's huge. And if I'm selling home decor, I want to sell to them because, man, like, they have a huge customer base. So why do we start with smaller mom and pops?
We have to understand, well, you can start in bigger, but then the road would be longer. That's number one. Number two, that you say it's small. Yes, those are small stores, but this is not a small business at all. Because if you're selling to 10 stores or 50 stores, or later on selling to 200 or 500 stores, you can multiply yourself the numbers, and it's not a small business at all. Now, you have to get, to start somewhere. And if you want to start at level 3, 4, or 5, and skip number 1 and 2, then you're going to pay for that somewhere on the road, right? You're going to pay for that not knowing enough, or knowing the wrong things, or thinking the wrong things. And besides that, I want to tell you something there about what you just mentioned before about the other channels. I was entering something like more than 20 different lines to Macy's.com, which is number 10, I think, on the list of the topest 10 online channels in the States. And one of them, we came up with numbers, we came up with pricing and everything. And pricing is something that we definitely going to talk about into details. And I came up with the prices with one of these lines for someone that worked with me. And Macy's said, your prices are too low. So I said, what do you mean by too low? So then they showed me that the same product is selling on their website, different branding, different visuality and everything, but more or less the same, category, I would say, or subcategory. And they're charging 3 times than what we charge. So we ended up selling it 2.5 times than what we planned originally. This is something that you have to understand, that, a lot of people might come and say, all right, so I have this lovely product or a line of products, or, 5, 10 SKUs, but who would want to buy them in stores? And even if they want to buy them in stores, I guess that this store, or whatever store there is there, or whatever channel, already have so many other suppliers that, I'm useless. I mean, what's the point of being another one on the pipeline without results? And that's exactly why we are doing all these sessions, to make people understand everything that they need in order to succeed and be the one that is being chosen, the one that when people say it, you spoke about consumer. Right now, when you go to B2B, you see the consumer, obviously, because the product is consumer oriented. But your business is business oriented, meaning that you're gonna have 2 customers. The first customer is the consumer, and the actual more important customer for you is the store or the special channel that you're standing in front of.
And I just want, I want people to understand, because I didn't really understand the gravity of this until, you know, I've seen your invoices, Taylor. I've seen your orders. And the thing is, and you're like smiling because you know like how big of a deal it is. So this was a small store order that you showed me the other day. This was a small store order and just a small chain store, right? And it was one product, and the one order was over $120,000. One order. We Amazon sellers would dream of that kind of sales for one order. We get that one order like $10 at a time, you know? So to change that one order from being $10 at a time direct to consumer to, like you said, making business your primary customer, and they're buying for their customers, and they need enough for their whole chain or whatever, that changes everything for you. And of course, you don't want to start where, you know, if you start in a big box store like Costco or, you know, even Walmart on the shelf, it's really overwhelming, and you have to have different certifications for your factories, and you have to be able, your contracts are a lot tougher. It's different when you're just dealing with a small chain store. It's just invoice and pay me some money, right? Like you got to have the right branding. You have to have the right templates to contact them. You have to know what you're doing, which is what we're teaching. But it's not like when we're dealing with like Walmart or Costco or something like that, where it's like, oh, now we need factory certification. Now we need contracts. Now we need to pay attention to if we don't fulfill or if it doesn't sell, then, you know, or payment terms, all of those kind of things. So like you said, we got to grow to that. We're not ready to start there. But what this does is opens up the door to us learning the language and us making those businesses our customers and learning how to serve them. Because just like we learn how to serve consumers in business to consumer relationships, right? We need to learn how to serve businesses to make businesses our customers so that our offer is appealing to them. So that's kind of what we're working on. So one of the biggest questions that we got out of all the forms from people filling it out, and if you guys are interested in this masterclass, you can go to amazingathome.com/retail. And that is where you can learn more about this masterclass that we're going to be doing. It's starting in September. So it's the first week in September is when we're going to have the first session. So the biggest question that we got out of all the forms that people filled out, and we've had, you know, tons of forms already. So I don't know, you know, how many we're going to open it up to, but the biggest question that we got is, will this be recorded? Of course it's going to be recorded, because Taylor lives all the way across the world from me. I live in Texas on Central Time. And a lot of the people that are interested live in Australia. We've got some from Canada. We've got some from the US. We've got some from the UK. So we are all in different time zones. So we're going to pick a time that works for both, you know, Taylor and I to be able to put this information out there to you. It's 5 sessions that we're going to cover. So 1 session a week. And yes, it will absolutely be recorded, and everyone who participates is going to have access to those recordings. So that was one of the biggest questions. And so we will go into October because we have 5 sessions. So the first 4 sessions will be once a week in September. And then again, you know, you're going to be able to ask us questions live if you attend the live sessions. But if you have to pick up a recording, that's okay, because we're going to be in a group format where you guys are going to be able to ask questions later afterwards. And so we will be accessible to you. It's not like we're just going to go, oh, there's the live, and you know, there's no answers to your questions. In fact, you guys know me. You know, if you ask me a question, you're going to get a ton of answers, and Taylor's the same way. He's really happy to give more than enough information. He's really involved with everybody that he works with, which is why we're limiting the amount of people that can attend, because we want to be involved. We want to make sure that that we can answer your questions. We want you to be successful, you know, in doing this. So that is the big thing. Did I miss anything there about the recordings or the setup, Taylor?
No, not at all. You didn't miss. Just one thing related to previous subject, just to keep in mind, when you go and sell to these specialty stores, you are capable to receive money before you release goods. And everybody knows that, you know, you're putting investments in China, logistic companies, warehouses, and so forth. You don't want to get a huge order from a retailer and start to think, you know, where am I going to bring this money from to finance it first, factoring and so forth. That's why it's easier. Even if you get like a small chain store out of this specialty with, well, whatever, 3, 4, 5 different stores, and you build relationship, and one day they come up and says, you know what, can you give us now like a couple of days credit? Then you're fine, you're good. You know how to play with the numbers, because it's not crazy numbers, number one. Number two, you know them good enough so that you can, you know, you can say, okay, for a couple of thousands or whatever, 10, 20,000, $50,000, you know, let's see if we can make it happen. Maybe we can share it. Maybe we can change the prices a bit and so forth. So what I'm saying here is it's also from the finance point of view.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're paying for a huge order like that and you're having to pay for that up front, there's some learning curve that's happening there. I mean,
Exactly.
you know, all of us want to be able to start with, you know, really it's about setting up the foundation and understanding how it works. And then starting making our first sales in a few specialty stores, and then growing to those bigger chains and understanding. It's just like when you're first selling on Amazon, you know, you got to figure it out. You got to like, man, I launched that product and I changed a few keywords and all of a sudden it took off. You know, it's the same way. You know, you have to learn how to set up your foundation properly. I'm sure you make adjustments every time you launch. So who is this for? We had a couple of people that asked that question. Like one person that signed up said that they're launching their first product on Amazon and they're still interested in this masterclass because they want to set up as Taylor was mentioning, you want to set up the foundation of your business so that you can not only sell to consumers and have your branding and everything on point, but when you get that call from someone else who's interested or you're wanting to sell to businesses, you're set up from the get-go. And that's really, really helpful. And then for those people that want to sell in multiple channels and want to have those options open to them, it's good to have that foundational knowledge of how to do it. And so I do want to talk real quick about the additional things. So it's going to be recorded. It'll be 5 sessions once a week. You can catch the recordings. Everyone who signs up with us, it will be, we will be in touch with you and let you know, and everybody will be able to talk with each other and ask each other questions, ask us questions, that kind of stuff. We're here to set you up for success. My mastermind group, a few people are asking in my mastermind group, like, hey, Amy, is this going to be included in the mastermind? So it is not part of the mastermind. Of course, the knowledge that I gain will be helpful to everyone in part of the mastermind group, but it is separate from our mastermind curriculum. This is something that I'm doing with Taylor, and we're just inviting people along. So we will definitely, add some great information into the mastermind program, but I don't want people to get those two things confused. I would not want you guys to be like, oh, let me sign up for the mastermind and go, okay, wait, where's this specialty retail class? So they're two separate things. However, as I said, everyone in my mastermind group will be receiving a special discount. I'm going to be giving those people a special discount. And then of course, the knowledge that I gain from that will be fed back into our mastermind program. But anyway, so that's the answer to that question. And I think that was it as far as the questions that we got. Anything else that we want to touch on before we sign off today?
Just last thing to mention, as you said, just want to add on top of it. I think and I believe that after each and every session, the best thing to do is to leave some time for questions, because when questions come up, they always make it clear to me and to everyone else what parts were missing and not clarified well enough. And this is very important. And this is also referring to what you mentioned about limiting the people that is going to attend, because we have to have a lot of attention to each and every one, because without having that, I wouldn't be able, me and you, especially me, I wouldn't be able, to give my time to each and every question and to answer things, and, to see that each and every person that is there is really taking his stuff to the right direction and moving forward. It's very important for me.
Yes, I would agree. Like that's the idea, is that we want to see these people make it successfully, you know,
Exactly.
and get their extra channels going. So yes, it's going to be in a group format where, you know, we're going to be doing the webinars live on Zoom, and you're going to be able to join the Zoom and ask questions and interact and all of that. And then the recordings will be available for you, but you'll also be able to ask those questions afterwards. So very similar to my current mastermind format, where, you know, if they can catch a live session, they come on the live session and we do Q&A, but anytime if they have questions after that, you know, we're on top of it. So because again, we want people to be successful. We don't want you to go through this and go, oh, I don't know how to implement any of this, you know? So that's really important to us. And we don't know what you don't know. So we're going to give you a really good foundation, but we got to get that set up. So the big interest of everybody who's filled out our form so far on amazingathome.com/retail has been like, everyone says their reason for wanting to do this is to expand beyond Amazon. They don't want to put all their eggs in the Amazon basket. So I think that is awesome. And then also a lot of people said that they are not using a third-party logistics provider outside of Amazon. So all of their inventory, everything. So it's going to be really great that they get those bonuses from you in understanding where else they can keep their inventory. I know you have inventory in the US, you know, and you're able to pull from that and fulfill those orders. So if Taylor can do it, if Taylor can sell in the US to specialty stores and big box retailers, and he lives in Tel Aviv, you can make sure, you can ensure that you can teach other people who live overseas how to be successful with US retailers and how to have their inventory, you know, because you're buying from all over, right? You're buying from China, you're buying from, you know, all over the place, but you're storing that inventory in the US and you're able to fulfill it to those stores that way. So you're going to teach us how to do that. And so many, I think that's so important because so many of our interested participants are living overseas. And often, especially in Australia, I know the only opportunity that's really been presented to them is Amazon. And so nothing wrong with Amazon. It is an awesome opportunity. And, you know, it pays the bills for me. So I'm not mad at it. But I'm excited to pay some more bills on the retail side of things. So
right.
Very good. So I just want to make that clear, you guys, that, you know, Taylor is doing this right now. He is fulfilling products. He has stores in the US, you know, that he's fulfilling, even though he lives in Tel Aviv. So it's like, you know, it's okay. You can definitely do this even if you live overseas.
Right. We're living in 2020. It's easy.
Let's just call it 2021. I think we're done with 2020, but you know.
Yeah, we're all fed up with 2020. Definitely.
We're finished with 2020. All right. Yeah. Well, I think that's it. I think we've answered everybody's questions. It will be recorded, 5 sessions starting first week in September. If you're interested in saving a spot, go to amazingathome.com/retail and fill out the interest form there, and we will be in touch with all the extra details. And I can't wait. I'm so excited to get started in September with all you guys. And yeah, we will see you then.
Great. Thank you very much for having me today.
Yes, no problem. Thanks for being on. I know. What time is it by you right now? It's like super late, right?
It's almost 9 p.m.
Well, that's not too bad.
It's the middle of somewhere in the middle of my working day.
Yeah, you work late. Oh man, I start early and try to be done by like 3 in the afternoon. So tonight in our mastermind group, we are having a special guest speaker, and we're talking about branding. And I am so excited to talk about branding because, you know, we're going to cover some of this in our retail class as well, but it's just it's so important, you know, it's so important. So yeah, I'm excited.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And it's crazy to think of like how many people don't understand the impact that it can have in their target customer or in the price of their product, or, you know, all of that. So yeah, I'm excited to have that masterclass tonight. So anyway, you guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we will see you guys next time. We'll probably check in with you one more time, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. You can comment on this post, you know, anything like that. And Taylor and I will be happy to follow up with you. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.